They have laid out their plans. It's time for them to listen to us. Listen. Truly listen. Now that is a very important stage, listening. In fact, it is a process, and it takes time. That is why we have until May the 20th of this month to give our views. But in that time, we must be heard, and they have to listen. How do they do that? Well, the process of listening involves 5 stages: receiving, understanding, evaluating, remembering, and finally, responding. All of these constitute what is known as active listening, which demonstrates sincerity in the conversation and also demonstrates that nothing and no one is being assumed or taken for granted. Now, I won't go into the details of those 5 steps of listening, as this is not a communications class. But an overall summary is that when listening, one begins with no assumptions, no prejudice or bias about the one speaking. That they listen to the views being presented with an open mind. They ask questions to allow the speaker to elaborate more and fill in any gaps. That they evaluate the information that has been shared and keep in mind what is being said. Putting context and meaning to the words, watching for verbal and nonverbal cues from the one speaking. All of these must be done before responding. You see, there's a sequence to this. Now, oftentimes, we listen only to respond. I admit, sometimes I'm guilty of this one from time to time. We cut people off before they have finished speaking. We have contempt for the one speaking. We are dismissive of what they're saying. We talk over them rather than sit back and allow them to fully express themselves. And you know, people express themselves in different ways. Some are more enlightened on a particular topic than others, and so might not just tell you what they like or they don't like about your ideas, they may even offer alternative ideas. Yet others may not be experts in the field, but whose views are no less important. They may simply say, I don't like A, or I don't like B, or I don't like C. That too is a view that must be heard and taken into consideration. It cannot be dismissed simply because it does not offer the now popular mantra in this country, so what's your alternative? Because that attitude may be in fact a barrier to effective listening. Prejudice, contempt, prejudging. This means you aren't even considering the views of the ones who are giving you feedback because you already deem them as beneath you or not worthy. And the responses cannot be deemed to be a lecture on the subject under discussion, with the implication that the one giving you feedback does not understand the circumstances. You know, even the great Desiderata has something to say on this, and I quote, "Listen to others, even to the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story." So, with respect to the Finance Bill 2023 and its proposals, can we allow some space for feedback? Hear and perhaps truly listen to everyone, even when we adamantly disagree what we hear and are deeply convicted of our own ideas. Can we seek to understand where everyone, and I mean everyone, is coming from? What they like, what they don't like, what they agree with, what they don't agree with, what their pain points might be, their fears, their misgivings, their dreams and hopes and aspirations for themselves and their loved ones during the next financial year and beyond. Listen to those who are gifted in the understanding of complex economics and their alternatives. Listen to those who are gifted in other matters and who would simply say, I don't want this law. I don't want this tax. I don't want this levy. You see, Kenya is one, and it is for all of us, those with alternative ideas and those without. All of us pay taxes, from the highest earners to the ones still praying for a job, from the biggest business owners to the self-employed. Government has given its views. It's now our turn. And all we ask is for them to listen. No lectures, no prejudice, no bias. Just listen.